I watched this morbidly obese man travel to the north of England, where he found a fish and chip shop. And he went in and he ordered his fish and chips, and he ate them in front of GoPro camera that was being operated by somebody else. And while he was eating these fish and chips, he was commentating on what he was doing. He was talking me through the meal and saying whether he'd enjoyed it or not. It's not the first one I've seen, because this man has done literally hundreds, if not thousands, of videos of him eating fish and chips around the British Isles. So I've seen quite a few of these. They're quite long, they're about 25 minutes, but it's a valuable use of time. And it makes me hungry. But more importantly, it devolves me from the pain of nostalgia and the fear and anxiety of the future. So I get this wonderful 25-minute break, or so it feels. Actually, I'm not sure it is that wonderful. Actually, I don't feel that good afterwards. Anyway, after I finished watching that, I watched this guy with a big beard. And he was traveling around America doing food challenges. And in this particular one, he ordered 24 Big Macs and then ate them. And I watched him eat every single one of those Big Macs. Now, it wasn't as gruesome as it sounds, because between Big Mac number 15, I think, and Big Mac number 21, he speeded up well, it wasn't him who speeded it up, but the editor speeded it up, and so it kind of flashed by those particular Big Macs. In fact, he had quite a team around him. I think he had 2 cameramen, and then there was the video editor. Who knows who else there was? But, I thought it was quite an interesting use of time. It was only about 15 minutes. It made me hungry, but more importantly, gave my mind a bit of a rest from the torturous void of my own existence. If any of these things stop, even for a minute, then I'm confronted with the horror show of myself. Luckily, after that, I decided to watch Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love. It's a new cooking show. I mean, I know there are hundreds of thousands of cooking shows that are out there, not just that have been made recently, but going back to 1970 and Galloping Gourmet and, Jamie Oliver and, all the others. But this is a new one. They were quite long. They were about 40 minutes, and they comprised of obviously a very nice kitchen with a kitchen island. You have to have a kitchen island in these programs. The kitchen island is the key. The kitchen island is what distinguishes them from us, not only in cooking shows, but in dramas. Those dramas on TV, those thrillers where there's a kind of very nice couple who are living in a beautiful house with a kitchen island, but there's something weird going on. We've got to find out what. There's a hook. So she had a lovely kitchen island, but I was a bit disappointed. She didn't actually do any cooking. She stands there in a beautiful linen dress, and she kind of invites a professional chef to come in. I don't know who this guy was. And she doesn't really do anything at all. She makes quips. she makes quips. Not witticisms, just little comments, little quips, while he cooks something on the kitchen island, which is fair enough. I mean, normal format, I guess, to some extent, but normally they do something. I mean, she did at one stage, I think she chopped a pineapple slice in half. But anyway, the guy made a pineapple flan, which was so convoluted and so full of ingredients that I'd never heard of. I mean, he was getting all these fresh cinnamon sticks and star anise and all this weird and things like pure almond oils and essence of this and, vanilla pod that. And there must have been 50 ingredients going to this flan. And this was the whole programme. And so at the end of the programme, the climax of the programme is that Pamela Anderson is given the role of flipping it over out of the oven, because the nice pineapples in a nice pattern, they're on the bottom of the flan. So she gets the chance to. She does a fantastic job. I mean, she turns it over and there it is. It's fantastic. But it did occur to me that I don't know what I'd watched, because nobody in this entire world, even in other worlds, if the broadcast signal gets to other planets, which it will eventually, no one is ever going to make this convoluted, delicatessen ingredients recipe for this pineapple flan. No one's going to make it. And therefore, I guess the point of the programme was, I don't know, maybe just to show off the linen dress she was wearing. I don't know what the point of the programme was. But it was a useful use of my time, because it gave me 40 minutes of respite from staring into the void of nothingness, which happens when I stop distracting myself. Of course, I had to have a break from this at one point. So I went out into the park. Now, you know about my experiences in the park before. I go out there, I look for survivors. There are very few. I can't find any survivors at the moment. I'm not being flippant, actually. Of course, I understand there is an element, a sort of satirical element to my emergency broadcast today, searching or calling out for survivors and telling you that although I am here and I have survived, I am infected. Everyone I know is infected, some worse than others. For example, I have talked before about a friend who recently retired quite early at the age of 60. Not bad. He'd hated his job for 20 years and he dreamed of that retirement. And then I told you that having retired, he found that he could not exist just contemplating and meditating on his own coming oblivion, but that he had to actually fill his time in any way possible. And so he started an online trinket business. He actually retired overseas. He's from America. Recently, his online trinket business has kind of been reduced to him buying things from a Korean supermarket, like a packet of sweets, and then selling those packet of sweets on eBay. His eBay shop to his Facebook gang. And this is a full-time job for him. I mean, he goes and gets the boxes and he packs the little boxes, and I don't know how many he sells. I don't think he sells any, but I mean, he's invented this imaginary world for himself. So his latest product, which he advertised profusely over the last couple of days, was a trash bag. It was a trash bag from a supermarket. It had a bit of Korean writing on it. And it came in a little sort of polythene pocket. And he's advertising these things. And he's selling them to his American friends. If he can, well, that's what he seems to be saying he's trying to do. He's gone from sort of being a kind of international, kind of, not international, but certainly a kind of, not, somebody with some pride and somebody who held down a fairly top job in many ways. Well, certainly a skilled job. To selling individual single trash bags. I thought it was one of the most tragic things I've ever seen. I mean, we're talking Shakespearean level tragedy. And he talks so enthusiastically about these little things, the packet of sweets or the trash bag. But then he had a crisis. Just can't have been more than about 6 hours ago. And the crisis was that he was selling these trash bags, or was intending to sell these trash bags. I think he thought that the idea was that people would like a trash bag which came in a polythene packet which had Korean writing on it. I think that was the only unique selling point, USP. So he revealed that there'd been a disaster, an absolute disaster, because due to the American sanctions, it would now cost $80 in duty, because that was the minimum price per parcel from this particular location. $80 in duty that you would have to pay as the purchaser of this individual trash bag on top of the actual price. So I guess he's buying them for $1. He's selling them for $20. I don't ask. But the recipient of this individual trash bag in the States would have to pay $100. This is all absolute nonsense. The whole thing is absolute nonsense from start to finish. Anyway, you can't tell him. And I'll explain why you can't tell him. Make a note of it. In the next time, or as soon as I can, get around to it. But it's got something to do with Hitler. Remind me. So I went out to the park for some respite from the distractions here. And I came across this man who was walking his dog. He was about mid-30s. I guess he was in the prime of his life, quite well dressed. He had a lovely dog with him. I think it was a little Cocker Spaniel. The Cocker Spaniel was sort of enjoying being out. Probably only gets one walk a day. Who knows? Maybe two. Nobody cares about these dogs because they don't look at them anymore, because they all do what he was doing. He's got his phone and he's like this. He's got the dog there. The dog is invisible. And it's not just for a minute, it's for the entire walk. I see them all. The park is very easy to observe. So he's got this and the dog is wandering around. Okay, that's just life now. That's just life. We've lost these people. They are not survivors. They've died. But at some stage, he kind of gets very absorbed in this, very absorbed. And he stops still in the middle of the path. And the dog stops still too and looks up and says, well, why have we stopped walking? And the guy, for 10 minutes, he's gone. He's lost it. He's lost consciousness completely. He doesn't give a damn about that dog anymore. He doesn't even know the dog's there. You can see it quite clearly. This is not uncommon. Have a look. And as I said, I'm infected too. I'm infected too. What is worse? Is it worse to stand in the park ignoring your dog who just wants to have a walk because you want to flick through some crap? Or is it worse to watch Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love, where she doesn't do anything but wear a dress and make quips? And the end result is a pineapple flan that is so convoluted and full of such exotic and weird and strange ingredients you've never heard of that you will never, ever make it. I don't know. So, after 10 minutes, I realised that this man is lost. He's not very well at this stage. I mean, he's lost consciousness, basically. And I have a plastic cup, and I drop the plastic cup, because I'm sitting here. I drop the plastic cup. And it shakes him out of his trance. And he realises he's in the middle of the park with the dog. Now, he doesn't really move very far. I see him sort of drifting. He doesn't let go of the phone, but he's kind of awoken and is now able to stumble forward. Man, mid-30s, prime of his life. But I couldn't find a survivor. One day I'm going to talk about the women who live here with the prams, because they push their newborn babies, and presumably very young babies if they're still in prams. They push them with one hand. They've learned how to do that because they're actually on the phone. They're staring at the phone. They're not. They could be talking on the phone. I don't know who these people talk to. They're on the phone. They're swiping through the phone. They're looking through the phone. They're looking at all the crap that I was looking at yesterday. They're watching a guy eat fish and chips. They're watching a guy do a food challenge, see how many burgers he can eat in one sitting. Or what have you. I don't know. This particular woman, she was blind. She was blind. She was walking blindly. At least the guy with the dog had stopped before he lost consciousness. This woman was walking blindly. She walked the pram into a bin. Now, I'm not saying that this is a universal phenomenon, but it is a real phenomenon. What is the point of getting a pet when you don't even look at it because you'd rather look at your phone? And what is the point of having a child if you're so programmed to continually stare at your phone and the absolute nonsense which it emits, a nonsense which is now widely regarded by anybody who actually looks at it, which is nearly all of us, as a wasteland, that you would drive your child pram into a bin.